issue. Well, technically, I think it's for cron jobs and stuff like workflows and stuff like that. All right, so actually, I want to show you how to. But since this place is actually quite high tech, but they lack an old thing, which is the DVI to analog converter. So I cannot show you how to install it. I actually got like a tutorial there inside my laptop, but I cannot show you. But I can show you how it compares with the site with MongoDB caching. Sorry, MongoDB. I actually combination of MongoDB caching, the session, and the fields, and compared to the non-MongoDB one. All right, I'll show you. You can test it out also in your laptop.
Hmm.
Bring your
What's the URL?
yeah.
That is the URL.
Oh.
This is the URL.
Except you're wrong at
I think there is
Yeah, it's
on the first it says phone.
how come there's phone number in this?
It's new standard.
Wait.
What did you find?
Yeah.
Okay, tomorrow I buy this number and oh today crap. I want to buy Toto on this number. When
What is it? I can't quite see. 176?
I also in my laptop I also got like two. I actually want to show you how it runs concurrently. Then you can see that. So this the left tab is actually the with MongoDB and the right tab is actually without MongoDB. So same start right? All right.
is this on the same machine?
Same machine you mean?
Yes, it's the same machine.
Yeah, it's the same machine.
Okay.
Right. So let's wait for it to load. Okay, so basically, well, we actually done a few tests, me and John, this afternoon. We actually clocked it like a difference of 2 seconds. Well, this is of course because of the MongoDB is not really known of if it's like a small number of users, but if it's like a lot of people that going to the same site at the same time, yeah, you can actually compare that. In fact, if like 1,000 people like surfing the page right now, compared to the 1,000 people surfing the page without the MongoDB, you can actually see the difference. Like we done back in the 3GB, we actually done, but that one is Node.js. So we actually done a test where we do a stress test. We do 100,000 users on the same time concurrently. One with Mongoose with there's a caching thing, but I forgot. Another one is without the caching, so it's kind of like it's not much difference from if you're one page. You can see also the 2 seconds load. All right, so all right, so that's all. Any questions? Sorry, I actually want to show you how to install it and stuff, but I cannot because of the limitation.
Hmm.
Any questions?
What would be the ideal setup for the Mongo with now?
Now,
Yeah,
okay.
what would be the best setup for using Drupal
Mm-hmm.
with MongoDB now?
Yeah, okay, so the best one is actually these three tables, which is the cache, the session, and the fields.
Okay.
So if these three tables are inside MongoDB, then it's gonna be a breeze compared to yeah. Any other questions? Yes.
Like, what's the migration path if you have an existing site in with MySQL and you want to move to Mongo or
All right. Okay. So technically, I do this site, this both demo site. I do the non SQL first, non MongoDB first. I do it and I generate 20,000 nodes in the site. Then after that, I actually added the MongoDB instance. I just copy the folder and put inside the multi-site, and then just create another database output, import it into another database, and then I just install the module. I install the MongoDB module. I enable these three submodules. I run up the MongoDB, and then it will connect. It will connect just like
But
that.
that's
Like
only for cache, right?
no, it's that for the three things: the cache, the session, and the field. Right.
How
So.
about we want to move our site over from,
Mhm.
can we mix and match between MongoDB and MySQL or something?
Yes, it is actually mix and match.
Oh, okay, it is mix and match.
Yeah, it is mix and match.
So you
Right.
can actually just turn it on and turn it off. So if you don't want to use it, then
Yes.
So you'd be
Yes.
crazy not to give it a go. If he was using Drupal already,
Uh,
you'd be crazy not to give it a go
yeah.
first.
You can actually turn it on and turn it off like
Yeah,
anytime.
really.
Yes.
is there any plans to support the grid file system for images and things like that?
Oh yeah. Drupal 8 they actually will use Symfony's forgot. It's not itinerary. It's actually another one. Forgot. We'll use Drupal is planning to use Symfony as
Event dispatcher
the base code. Yeah.
and the event dispatcher. They're planning to use the
Yeah.
event
Yeah.
dispatcher.
Yeah. We'll use Symfony, and then probably we'll use NoSQL for file storage, because right now it's stored directly onto the hard disk. So we want to change that in Drupal 8. Yeah. So yeah, and of course with Symfony, we can also use NoSQL for everything, because right now it's just only several modules, right? So right now it will cover cores as well. So kind of great news for the next. I think it's 2000 end of
Have
2013.
you have you tried any of the other caching solutions for Drupal?
Yes. In fact, Drupal already have its own MySQL caching,
Okay,
so it's actually replacing that. So uh, got a lot of difference if you got a lot of users coming in.
concurrently.
Yeah, like we done in IUM, but it's not really much difference lah. But we've done it on IUM also in MongoDB as well. But we test it out, but it's not really uh, because there's a problem with the servers over there. The RAM is not really strong.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Sorry for the boring presentation.
No, it's fun. It's very
Yeah.
But you have to let us
Okay.
play with
Thank
your
you.
computer.
Thank you very much.
Mongo
Yeah.
HQ, they're the most popular one at the moment. This is one in private beta at the moment. It's Object Rocket. It's the guy that's behind it is also a master there, and he's been doing it. I think he was doing the shutter kits or something before that. Anyway,
Shutterfly.
he started a company that's doing also Mongo hosting, but they've got an emphasis. They're doing something a little bit different. If you check out this blog post here, he'll mention some stuff about the benchmarks. There was some stuff with the, what was it, MemSQL that came up recently, the new that new
Yeah.
that new thing, yeah, new thing called MemSQL. MemSQL published some benchmarks versus MongoDB, and they weren't very good. This guy has done some new benchmarks based on his system, where he's doing some extreme caching of some kind, and it's much improved. So, if you're in the market for Mongo hosting, try and get up. They're private beta at the moment, but if you send them an email, they might let you in, and maybe someone could check them out. I don't need them, but if someone out there does, they can report back and tell us what they're like. Also, there's the editor. Did anyone get to play around with it yet? What Python users have we got in the audience at the moment? I was scared it would just be one. Really? No one else? Seriously? Then it's your job to check that out. Let us know.
Yeah, I will.
Did you have a look at it?
Nah, not yet.
No, I
Yeah.
hear good things about it, but not having used it, I don't want to really say it is good unless. Okay. And yes, swag. We do have more swag. We have stickers. We have those books. Help us out if you need them. If you want a T-shirt, do a presentation. They've won. I think they've just won an award this month for the best open source swag. There's a competition for the best open source swag. 10 Gen won it. with these USB drives. So I'm going to try and get us some of these. Yeah,
Hmm.
they're pretty cool. I don't have any now, but I'll try and get some. And this is what we've got going on tonight in that particular order as well. Oh, so you're live.
Does
Right.
it mean?
Yes. Very nice.
I don't
So
think
yeah,
that
we'll
was my
start off
title.
with Akmal.
I'm not sure whether that was my
Cassandra
title.
Cash.
versus MongoDB.
I don't know.
Whoa.
Okay, cool. Hello, my name is Akmal Fikri. Sorry, this is my first time presenting on this crowd. Got a lot of got a lot of leads coming in today,
Mhm.
and yeah, we got a female. We got one girl here, so help yourself out. Call me maybe. All right. Uh, I'm currently employed to a UK-based company called Red Key Digital, and I'm one of the two uh, fortunate guys that can stay here in Malaysia. Everyone is at UK, so yeah, we do websites based on Drupal, and then I'm one of the early adopters of MongoDB here in Malaysia, and in fact, I think TGV is actually the
First in production, yeah.
first in production. Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, me and Ray did
Yay.
the TGV side.
Awesome.
The first phase. All right. But that one is based on Node.js, which he will cover later. All
Hmm.
right.
JavaScript sucks.
Oh my God! Why it's
Stay school.
why
No
is
one.
why is loading now? All right. Okay. History of Drupal and MongoDB. All right. MongoDB is Is if anyone, I think these two guys don't know anything. It's actually an open source document oriented in NoSQL database system, which is it's a NoSQL database. And then Drupal, for everyone else who doesn't know, it's actually a free open source content management system. Can people see? Okay. And content management framework written in PHP and distributed under the JMU. Alright. So basically, what Drupal offer is they can actually manage big data. I mean, not really big data. I mean, a lot. The big data lah. Can call like big data compared to other CMSs. So they can handle that. All right. Why?
For example, it will when you get from the server side using Node.js, it will also automatically calculates your number for you. Yeah. So this is something cool. So currently, for now, I already define a schema over here, which is let's call it song. So this is how you create a schema inside Mongoose. So this one you guys can go and check it out later, right? So how do you create a document in Mongoose? So let's say I want to create a new song, for example. I define a schema over here, which will have things like title, artist, cover, duration, source, whatever. Okay. So right now I want to define a new document. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to define, okay, what's the title is. Let's say like the bridge is falling down, the artist is not smiling. The duration, okay, 100, genre, whatever, and then the cover would be Mark's Facebook picture. Yeah. After that, you just call a save function. Okay, when you run this, you will get it takes all this data and saves it into the database as this data. See, it will automatically create an ID for you, the MongoDB ID. Yeah, and then sometimes you might want to define some default values. Let's say over here we have a created add inside the schema where you define what's the type, which is a date, and then the default value is a date now. Okay, so it gets saved into a database. So let's say right now I go to my database db.songs.client artist. Yes, so it's inside here.
Is that a Mongo? Do you know if that's a Mongo date?
Hmm?
Do you know if that's saved as a Mongo date object into it?
It's a what? Mongo date
Date.
object.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It says as a Mongo date object. See?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
the ISO date
Yeah.
object. Yeah. So this one is a number. So let's say right now I want to change this thing into string, for example. So but when I input is a number, right? So let's see what happens if I save this thing. See, it's saved as a string. So let's say I come into here and find there are two documents here, right? The second one should be a string. See? Yeah. So this one is to make sure that the document types that when you're saving in it gets casted into the correct format. Okay, so this is to create lah. This one should be quite easy, right? Oh, also you can do arrays. Arrays, you can define arrays of string or number or anything inside the schema. So instead of defining like song dot text and then you saying that it's an array of stuff, you don't do that inside Mongoose, but you push into the array. So let's say I want to push these three things inside. Push just like how you do with any other array. Yeah, you push data into the array. Yeah. So what's cool about the array is that it doesn't need to be an array of string. It can be even an array of object. So let's say if I do like push text push, this tag name is children, and then the tag count is 10. Sound.text.push name is chicken 30, 30 for example. So when I create this, wait, because wait, let me try. Okay. So yeah, in the case that you if you don't define any kind of type inside an array, you can actually push any kind of stuff inside. So let's say dot push string song dot text dot push. So yeah, all this data can be saved inside if you don't define anything lah. Yeah, but generally it's good practice that you define a certain type for it. So this one is to create. Okay, so let's say right now we want to try finding. So like any Node.js processes, right? Node.js processes are all asynchronous. So you must specify like what's the function, and then you must also specify a callback. So in this case, we use the normal find operation that you can find on the MongoDB shell as well. So when you do this thing on MongoDB, this is what comes out, right? But inside Node.js, you specify your query. After that, you get the result and then say what you want to do with the result. So for example, find. So once it's done, then you get all the result over here, which is okay lah, over 1,000 songs over here lah. Okay, so right now let's try doing a query with let's say specified query. This one should be an object. Okay, so this query only returns result that matches, say artist Lady Gaga. So let's say right now we want to change the query to Mark Molly So these are the data that we inserted just now. Smally, random range is smaller now. Yeah, we get the idea. So this one is the normal find operation. So let's say if you want to specify fields and options as well, like how you do in the DB, you do like a dot find artist
Mm.
smally. After that, you specify like which field that you want, right? Let's
Yeah.
say you only return artist and title, and then the options comes after. Let's say you want to sort by title. This is how you do inside MongoDB shell.
Mm.
But inside Mongoose JS, you specify all these things in one single query. Let's say this
Mm.
thing find this query, and then the fields you specify like which one you want, which one you don't want, and then you sort by the options. After that, you get the result. Then you decide what you want to do with the result. So this is what that appears. So this one is the easy one. Of course, there's a find one operation as well, which is the same with
Mm.
the shell operation. It just finds one single document.
The
So let's
first one.
say Lady Gaga, just now there's like 5 documents, right? So it should return only one document. Yeah, this one everyone knows, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but that is not the cool part about Mongoose. The cool part is here. Okay. So what happens is that you can actually do uh, create a JavaScript object. Do you guys are familiar with JavaScript?
No.
Not
Not
really,
quite.
yeah. Oh, okay, never mind. So what happens is that in this situation, you create an object that is when you say you want to do a find operation, right? You actually cast it into as an object where you can add or remove the queries you want later on or anything. So right now, this one is a basic operation which we want to say, okay, query something find query. So it returns the same result lah, but let's say if the things we are doing, the kind of query we are doing, right, is very complicated. Let's say over here, we want to say, okay, query where the artist is Adele, where the genre is fresh, where the duration it has to be greater than 300, and then we can even add more, can be less than 100. Imagine if you write this in a single query inside the MongoDB shell, it's going to be quite chaotic, right?
Mm.
So let's say it's less than 500. You want to sort it by title. After that, you might want to sort it by the second parameter. Let's say sort it by duration. You want to select. You want to select which fields that you want to use. You might want to even do things like what else? Okay lah. Let's just try this one now lah. Okay. Uh, so this is what happens when you do a query, right? Over here it can be done as conditionals. So let's say sometimes you might want to write a function that says if uh, if you want to search for artists, then only insert this query. If search genre, then you insert this query, something like that. So it's very very handy when you're writing a lot of JavaScript functions inside Node.js. So this is one of the cool things that you can do with Mongoose. Another thing that is very cool is that it can create a stream of your queries. So what happens is that when you are doing a stream, you create a query, as usual. Let's say this one lah. And then you can say that this is a stream that is being called from MongoDB. So when the data arrives, let's say every time any data arrive, you do something. in this case, we are just doing something like, okay, I have a count which is 0. Every time a data arrive, I'm going to increment the count by 1, and then I'm going to log out and say, okay, document count is this one, and then I'm going to log what is the document's artist and title. When it returns the data, right, it return the document, every single one document. So stream, what happens is that every single time the document is being returned, it does an operation, which is very, very handy.
Hmm.
Hmm.
That's good.
Yeah, so imagine what you can do with this sort of stuff is like, let's say when you are trying to stream a certain large chunk of file inside your database to the front end, while it is being streamed, at the same time you can already admit to the front end the data that is already being called, so the front end doesn't need to the client doesn't need to wait too long.
So
Or even you can do
just
data processing on the fly. You don't have to wait until the whole chunk of data processing is done on the database and gets returned, and you can already start doing some processing asynchronously at the same
Hmm.
time. Yeah, so when it's done, when the stream is closed, then we say, okay, last stream is done. So this is what happens. So uh, oh yeah, so you can do queries like if it only exists, or exists title, or only query dot where the artist is in operation is like there's something inside, let's say the
like,
yeah only has s.
so it's a SQL in or it's not quite a SQL in?
Hmm?
Like, is it something like SQL in?
Yeah, no, it's not like SQL in, it's more like
SQL line.
SQLite.
Oh, okay,
SQLite.
alright.
Okay. Yeah. So these are some of the operations that you can do, and of course you can also do remove. There are two ways that you can do remove inside Mongoose, which is first is you can do a normal remove query, like what you do in MongoDB, which is db.songs.remove artist Max Molly, for example. Then you remove all the data that is done here. Of course, you have to specify a callback, what happens after it's done removing. Right. So let's try this thing. Copy, remove. So once it's done, then it should be already removed. So let's say right now we go to a DB and see artist Max Molly. It shouldn't. There's nothing there.
Hmm.
So right now let's try creating some things first. Create text copy. So let's run this a few times. Okay. db.songs.find artist. So right now it should have 6 documents inside, right? So sometimes you might want to remove the documents one by one. You might not want to you might want to do like you want to save this document somewhere else or whatever, then only you want to remove. So inside Mongoose, every single document that is returned is an object. So that object, it contains some functions, like you can remove it, you can update it, you can even save it. So in this case, we search for all the documents that matches this query. Then after that, we do a function that says, okay, we iterate through the files. So when it's done, when it's removed, then remove the next one. Inside Node.js, right, because all the functions are asynchronous, it means that when this function is done, right, before it is done, you shouldn't be doing the next step. Sometimes you might want to do it like one step by one step. So in our case, right, we only do the next step after this remove operation is complete. So let's run.
Do you guys remember the old timers really? We those systems actually use technology like Genie, Java Spaces, Ninjas, and stuff like that. Um, those are for really big systems. Each of them cost like $25 million or something like that. So about 2 years ago, the Department of Education of Vienna, they came to us and say, "Hey guys, we want something. We want to work with you guys about the education problem of Indiana, and we are really interested in your approach, but we don't have the money." So that's an interesting problem. So they came up with some sponsors, and eventually they managed to scratch around like a $1 million or something for us to build a system for them. And that system, however, will not be as huge as the other system that we generally built. And this system, however, will be a lot less complex, but it has to run a lot faster than the previous systems. The previous systems are generally systems uh, for military to do scenario planning. For example, before they attack, say, Iraq, uh, they want to know what do different Iraqis think about their attacks. Obviously, they're not going to be happy about it, but they want to know who are not going to be happy about it, which faction are going to be pissed the most, and also what are they going to do about it. So those are the kind of stuff that we do. Those simulations generally run about like 20 hours, and then it will take like 3 days to do the data analysis. So it takes a long time. So the Department of Education guys came to us and say, "Hey guys, we don't have the resource. We don't even have the three full-time data analysis people to do this kind of stuff. So why don't you guys build a system that could run in like under 3 minutes and potentially have everything in there that allow us to know what is going on with the system within like 30 seconds. And this is all going to be managed by a part-time guy." So, so then we changed our thinking entirely for the, we have been doing that for the past 10 years. So we knew that we have to do something much simpler for smaller projects like that. And so what we thought of is that we need a totally different system. And that's when we look into NoSQL systems. So what we did is that initially we look at HBase. So we actually start prototyping against HBase. As you can see, our product are mainly Flash based with some JavaScript stuff as well, Action script stuff, and that's the front end. The middle tier is made more is entirely Tomcat, and there's a man patch in between, and then there's the database, whatever it is. We actually prototype with MySQL, which we use in other projects as well, and HBase, and eventually MongoDB. And actually MongoDB won out, and that is what is running this right now. So the reason that we choose NoSQL in the first place, mainly is because it's much easier for us to program than say MySQL. If any of you guys have used Hibernate before, it's a pain in the ass. It's a pain in the ass to program it in the first place. And as you go along, if you want to change the data logic, you will have to change the data structure behind the database. And if you have to change the data structure behind it, and you have to change the data access mechanism and stuff like that, and it's just pain in the ass. The second part is that the job dependency is just huge. So when we first moved to HBase, we were actually quite thankful because programming HBase is really not that bad, and the job dependency was manageable as well. However, our system admin came to me and say, hey, dude, HBase is really a pain in the ass to install and to maintain. And at that time, we have this system is catering towards about 15 users. So there's really no reason to use something as big as HBase. And he said that to trick HBase to work on a single machine instead of like 400 machines is actually tough. Uh, and the system admin is my friend. I really care about his feeling and trust, but perhaps I should move to something else. Uh, and he actually recommended Mongo DB, which he said it's very easy to install. And then I started checking it out, and I found out they actually need one job to actually access it. So I was happy, and I started programming it, and it turned out to be even simpler than HBase to program it. And this was about 2 years ago. So when we were programming this, we actually have to write the code to put in the documents and stuff like that. But nowadays, if you guys use Spring, there is a Spring data for MongoDB. Apparently, that makes things a lot easier than what we are doing right now. So the app. So this is the app. This is the map with Indiana. Indiana is in the United States, just in case.
Yeah, yeah.
So within this system, we have about 1 million agents, which means that we simulate about a million students that are going through high school and colleges. In the United States, colleges really mean university. Um, so um, so within the system, what the users initially do is that they will they will go to the form and they will take actions that they think that will affect the graduation rate and stuff like that to different geographical area. Uh, the stuff that you can see here are the political counties of Indiana. So, and then you enter certain assumptions such as the suspension and expulsion shift. This is an assumptions because they are generally there is a constant amount of naughty people in the systems. However, it is up to the educational policy to suspend or expose these guys. So that is why this is actually an assumption. And you can also put assumptions such as unemployment shift. You can simulate like a small or even a big financial crisis. So, and you have different actions here. These actions are actually suggested by the people who actually know about education. Uh, for example, create conversation about going to college and stuff like that. So they are interested in seeing once they take these kind of actions, what kind of effect they have on different segments of students within the next 10 years. So once they enter everything, they will run the simulation, and it will take about 2 minutes to run the simulation.
Mm.
And this is the result of a scenario that I ran earlier. And oops. Takes a while. So, as you can see on the bottom of the screen, there is there is a timeline from 2010 to 2018. That's about 9 years of the simulation, and based on different year, you have different outcome of the well-being. Well-being is something that we simulate for each of the students. Generally, a human has 7 well-beings, but in this project we don't simulate all of them because there are some well-beings that we really that are really constant within the people in Indiana. For example, the freedom of religion or the mobility and well-being, they are generally quite free in that area in the United States. So if we are actually simulating Iraq or Afghanistan, that's when we really care about freedom of religious or mobility. So so based on each country counties within Indiana, so you will see different numbers that comes out as their well-being. So essentially, whatever actions that you take against these students will change their well-being, and that is why the well-being index is actually being calculated towards the high school graduation rate and potentially if they want to go to 2 years college or if they want to drop out or if they want to go to better university kind of stuff. When you click on each of the county, it will tell you um, the kind of people, the demographic in the county. For example, what are the amount of people that are in the ninth grade, 10th grade, 11, and 12, different ethnicity, white, black, blah blah blah.
profiling
Yes. They have in United States they actually have this thing called multi-race where things are mixed up, so you don't really know what race they are.
No, like Indian.
Um, you have household type, which is really important in determining their educational path. If they come from a single parent family or married parent, if the parents are employed or not, or if they abuse drug or not. So and the result of the simulation, they really care about the high school graduation rate and how they proceed over time to like 2018. They generally want the stuff to look darker so that it looks things are better. And here you have different post high school intention. If people want to join the military, if people want to so the darker ones are the bad ones where um, the problem of education in the United States is kind of sad in the sense that for the rich white guys, 94% of them will graduate from college, and for the poor black guys, about 25% of them will. So it's actually a big well, education is generally built as the silver bullet of, of society of balance, but generally from the statistic we know it's not. So this is what these guys are trying to do, which is essentially to help the under privileged people and see how they could work towards a more balanced society. Beyond that, we have cross scenarios of where you can compare two different scenarios. So these are two different. So these are two different number of dropouts across the time frames of two different scenarios. So obviously the the, 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 the red scenarios is a lot better because the number of dropout keep dropping. Uh, or maybe they just ran out of students or something. But
How do you get all this data?
demographic data.
So they actually provide the data.
Right. Well, actually, it's open source. So.
Yeah. It's from the census.
How do you get?
Yeah, it's from the census.
Yeah, we do not have that here.
Oh, we
Will
have that
soon.
here.
Yeah.
We have that.
Interesting story, I tell you guys when I got a chance.
Oh,
see
really?
that
I
project
involved in
Because in other projects that we do Southeast Asian, non-educational project, but we do get Malaysian census pretty.
You can get it if you are agency, individual, not so much. To put it this way.
Yeah, right, right.
So I work in for data project, I know.
Okay. Yeah. So in general, the system runs on Tomcat, MongoDB, and how we design it in such a way that the data access layer is using Spring to decouple between to decouple the implementation of database, so we can swap out between HBase and Mongo easily. Um, we have familiarity of Memcache, but that was because when we were using HBase were kind of slow. Um, so we moved to Mongo. Um, we profile it. There's really not too much of need for Memcache because it's kind of fast anyway. But since it's written, so we have not taken it out. But the general experience of using Mongo is pretty good. It's fast. It's simple to program, and we have absolutely no complaint about it. So, any questions?
So this okay for this project, the calculation is done by your agents or actually done using the aggregation frameworks in Mongo itself, using the database.
No,
The
it's done by the
calculation.
agents. It's done. Uh, so essentially, they enter the form. I can
Yeah.
show you. Actually, it will say that wait for about 2 minutes or something, and then it will calculate it by the agents,
Okay.
and then it will get fed into the Memcache, which will
Alright.
sits into the Mongo.
So your agents will mostly read only or read more or write more actually? Just curious.
The agents are mostly both, because
So it's somewhat equal.
yeah, yeah. Actually, I think they read more than write.
So because you're talking about large number of agents, how about performance for that?
The performance is we have to tune it really well. Maybe the next presentation I can talk about the anti-tuning stuff and the programmatic stuff that we run into. For example, our agents are represented using integer array. Um, to go more into agent-based systems, what you do is that each of the agents have got different traits, and the traits, like I showed you, they have different ethnicity, they have stuff like that, and they are represented using an array of integers. And the integers, the first one will represent gender, one will indicate blah 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 blah. And we have so much of that that actually, when we write the agents into MongoDB, it actually ran against the MongoDB per document size limit.
Okay.
So we actually have to do some funny stuff. Actually, what we did is that we cast the integers into byte
Okay, that's fine.
and put it in there, and apparently that solved that. We just hope that Indiana won't grow any bigger. That way, the number of agents won't increase though. But for now, it works.
So you use any MapReduce or regression framework?
What's that?
Any MapReduce or regression
No,
framework?
no, no. This is not MapReduce. We use MapReduce in something else, but MapReduce is really good for asynchronous stuff, for offline processing stuff. These guys want to input and get results back in like a zippy kind of thing. You go and make a cup of tea and come back and put it out. So if they are willing to wait like a day or two, MapReduce is probably a good option.
Oh,
So since you're doing a simulation, how do you check whether it's correct or not?
There's no way. No, this the general way that we build a simulation system, we involve political scientists and economists in such a way that they tell us the logic and they tell us generally what to program. Um, we show them, hey, dude, these are the results. What do you think? So these are the best guess from the experts as to say, if this is what's gonna happen, uh, this is probably gonna be the result. But in any simulations, no simulations are correct, but some simulations are useful. So our simulations, we have never got it correct in the future because future there are too many moving parts. But it's good for them to know if you move this level, this is what's gonna change, and if you move another level, this is what's gonna change.
How much ranks that you have in that server to handle all this?
What's that?
How much rank that you have in this server to handle all these requests?
I don't know.
Java.
I tell my system admin to edit give me something that works, and he give me something that works. But if I'm gonna guess, it's probably around like 8 gigs or 16 gigs kind of thing. I don't really know. But this is all run off one single machine, one single blade machines.
60 or 16?
16.
No, you're talking about Java app and Java apps. You're talking about Java web app
Yeah.
on top of MongoDB. And you're talking about like a relatively not a small size simulation.
Right.
So
So just to let you know, this system are being used by about 15 people, and they don't all use it all at the same
okay,
time.
okay,
So
okay.
so that's why up until now there are no complaints from the users saying, hey dude, this kind of stuff.
Okay.
And that is also why we on the MongoDB side we have never done any indexing and stuff like that, because there's no complaint, so we are not touching it.
When you say it's not open for public, you mean what?
No. This thing is commissioned by the Department of Education, and only they get
Oh, okay. And it's still on development mode.
it's this is the first version. The second version will start after the election.
Okay.
The fact of working with government is that we have to play with the political cycles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned Flash. Are you actually doing any communication with Flash and MongoDB?
No, not directly.
Okay.
Flash works with Tomcat, Zcash, Memcache, and then the synchronous daemon actually do the MongoDB stuff.
So you want to learn a lot, right? You say what? You like Flash.
Yeah, I want to do some really technical stuff.
So do you do sharding and all that for
Not at
replication?
all. Initially, when I was doing this, I was worried about sharding and stuff like that, because when we were using MySQL before, it was a huge problem. But then that was because we were also using MySQL for much bigger font size. Uh, but what I did is that I put the scenario, each of the scenario, which means each run as a single document. Because of Atomic City, you when the agents are done running with the results and stuff like that, you persist as an atomic scenario, and then you access each one of them. Each user is its own collection. That way, I thought that if I need to do sharding, I can just do by users or something like
Oh,
that.
right.
But end up that I don't have to do sharding at all, so I didn't touch any of
Yeah.
that.
Okay.